Hello, everybody. It's Harry Boxer, technical trader at TechTrader.com. It is Tuesday night, and it's time for the charts of the day. I'm going to show you both longs and shorts. Today was an interesting day, but I tell you, I am not convinced that this rally was anything more than a snapback rally. And until I see different, with better technicals, I would advise everyone to play it very carefully. And I would also ask everybody to keep as big a cash position as you can and trade much more lightly. Maybe we can catch an ARTX or a BL or a plug like we did today, but at the same time, those are few and far between, and we're going to take the scalps wherever we can. But for now, let's take a look at some of the longs, and let's start with ARTX. As you can see, this stock, which has been in a beautiful rising channel all year, has had multiple waves up. Usually a quick move up, but here's a little elongated move, and now another one. And then this falling wedge. Now this falling wedge held right near the 20 and near the double top from the prior months in December and January. And you can see that today was an explosive move, taking it from from 409 to 634, close 6 1/4 up to 211, a 51% gain on 10.6 million, 10.9 nearly 7 million, and I've never seen that before. Now on the downside, at the top of the channel, resistance is right there. If we blow through this, we can see a spike up to 8.5, 9.5 zone. Don't be surprised if that occurs, but let's say, especially when they close near the top of the range intraday and near the top of the channel. If we can blow through that, we can get a big price move up. We'll see what happens. Stay tuned on that one. BGMD, a pretty good day today, jumping from 189 to 242, but it did back off to 208. It was still up 38 cents after gapping up initially. And 1.75 million traded, which is the second and third biggest volume all year, except for this 2-day pop it had in December. The big coil developed over a 3-month period. It then broke out, pulled back, and is spiking back up. Notice today's high at 242 is very similar to the levels that reached up in here in February, March of last year. So almost a 52-week high. If we can punch through, and we did back off to 208, that means we got to get back above 242. If we do that, I wouldn't be shocked to see it test at $3. Ballard, part of that fuel cell group, also with a sharp rise, the big reversal, a rebound, and then it did dip to slightly lower lows, forming sort of a falling wedge here. Now, the falling wedge with a clean breakout and closing at the upper end of the range, as a matter of fact, right at the top at 540. Even in after hours, if you take a look at this one, it traded all the way up to 576. So that stock may very well gap tomorrow. And same thing with plug, by the way. We'll get to that in a bit. And if we do get a follow through this zone, which I think is resistance there, 545, that'll be, and we did that this evening. And we should see a retest of somewhere around between 738 and 838 potential targets for Ballard. Big volume of 25.4 million today, as this group comes alive after falling wedges on most of them were developed. Fuel cells another. You can see the big run up that spiked up, reversed, bounced, and then made a lower low. Just about filled this gap in here, and then snapped back today for 48 cents, almost 20%. Not the biggest performer in that group, but nevertheless, a nice spike out of the group. HPJ had a big day. Well, not a big day, but let me point out to you why I'm showing you this. After this multi-month coil exploded, it pulled back, bounced, and pulled back again to form a perfect wedge. With technicals holding up this well, I expect the stock eventually to make a move that breaks out across 555, 560, and runs up test the 6 1/4 range. But eventually, the measured move takes me up towards about 8.5 to 9 3/4 in that zone up here. We'll have to see what we get, but wait for the breakout before you jump all over. It is worth keeping on your list. That's a Chinese electronic components manufacturer. Now here's plug. What a move that had today. Just looking at the 1-minute chart intraday, you see how plug ripped late in the afternoon from about 2:30 till the close in an hour and a half to go from 620 to 8.5. Incredible move. Now then after hours went up as high as 894, pulled back a little bit and closed up at 897. Very, very strong move. So based on the daily chart, you'll see that it's popped right to this resistance line right there around 848 and actually got above it in after hours. So the possibility that it retests the highs up in 11 and a half, 3/4 zone is likely or possible anyway. We'll see how it goes tomorrow morning. And you can see where the next target could conceivably be in the 14 to 16 zone. Good nappy something. RTRX put a swing on it today because the stock popped with 787,000 shares being the best volume in 6 weeks. And the stock moving out of what looked like a wedge here and popping near the high. If this should get through 21, I can see it taking off to 24 and then 29. Those are my targets going forward. Taser had another good day, and that stock came out of a falling wedge as well with a pop of $1.06 or 6%. And the volume was the best in 3 weeks, so perhaps we're getting a move here. As you can see, the rising bottoms line held near the 50-day moving average as well, and it's snapped back. I want to see if this gets through 1885.87 tomorrow. We close at 1891, so it's a little above it. In the after-hour market, I'm not sure if it did much. It did get up to 1891. It's closed at the high for the day, going away. So strong move there, and you can see that my target would be up around 20.5 to 23/4. Secondary target, 23. XGTI, well, with that explosive move in March, the pullback, pop, another pullback little wedge, and today it popped out. I put a swing trade on it, but perhaps a little early. We'll have to see if we can get a move to 385, which is this high, and today's high, 382. So we got, and this high here was 383. So we're in that zone where there's resistance. If we get through this, I suspect that we're going to see 465.70, maybe as high as 5 short term, with a secondary target, potentially all the way up here near 5 3/4, 590. ZLTQ. Nice day today. I've been following the stock for a while. It's been a top 25 stock. Note that the trend line was challenged here. Slightly taken out support and then rebounding right back up. Today, it punched up $1, got through the 50, and backed off to close in 1917 from a high of 1980. But it was still up $1.06, almost 6%. And the volume was the best in about 2 months. So I'm thinking this could be the beginning of a big move that takes us to retest a high. That would be the spike high here at 24 3/4, my first target. It gets through that, looking for 30 plus. And that's it on the long side. Let's take a look at some of the shorts. CYH, community health, along with a lot of stocks in the healthcare area, are not acting well. I think a lot of it has to do with how bad Obamacare has been going. But anyway, you can see the head and shoulders top here, pull back, another nominal low, a snapback, a lower high. This is now the declining tops line. If I'm being honest, looking at this channel, it seems to me it's an orderly retrace and it continues lower. And we may see this at some point come down into the high 20s. ESI, current outstanding box of short swing, is actually up 32 cents or 1% today, but not to be unexpected since it's bouncing off prior support. But a feeble bounce on low volume with barely budging in the technicals tell me the stock is going to break eventually. FCFS had a very nasty day. The rising wedge was broken with a thud today. It dropped 356 or 6.7%, and volume was the biggest in about 2 weeks. No, excuse me, 2 months. So from that aspect, it looks to me like this is headed down for a test of this line somewhere in that area, approximately 46.5. Beyond that, we can see the stock in the low 40s. GTLS, also box to swing short, continues to dip another $1.98 at 2.5% today. You can see it's right on support. If this line gives away and that line gives way, that's right there. We should quickly see 73, 74, maybe a lot worse. Hanger, formerly Hanger Orthopedic, broke its trend line, gap, rising wedge, breakdown, and now at support. Should that crack, I'm looking for 30 and then 27.5. HMIN looks like a big head and shoulders top with a rising wedge here. Broke hard, breaks the neckline, trend line, and can't even bounce. Look at the red negative technicals and big volume to the downside on this one. Down another 65 cents or 2.2% today, almost 1 million traded. MarkWest Energy looks like an awfully nice developing top. The technicals deteriorating. This rising wedge looks pretty bearish to me. Look for a test of 61.2 zone And beyond that, we could fall into the mid to high 50s. 55.6 is a potential target, going across these highs and lows in this area here. Up next is Nation Star Mortgage, which is a current swing short as well, with a little hidden shoulders top, breakaway gap, flag, another move down, and then another flag here. I'm looking for one more wave down that takes us near 20. And lastly is Triumph Group, which after completing a top formation and breaking away hard, bounced to resistance, came down and formed a wedge, and is breaking down. My target, 55. So there's some longs and shorts. It's going to be an interesting day tomorrow. I'm urging everyone to not trade your entire positions, not get too heavy, and be careful with stops on everything. Tight stops. I don't care if you get taken out. It's important to protect your capital at this time of the market. HP out. Talk to you tomorrow in the trading room. Bye-bye.